Okay. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for your attendance. It's not the best of evenings out there, but we'll try and get this over with as quick as we can, and hopefully everybody can have a safe drive home. So without further ado, I would ask are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest of the general nature thereof from anyone on the committee? And we do have one member on virtually, Ms. Simmons is on, well, acknowledge her. And any disclosures? None noted. Thank you. And I would ask the approval of the agenda, and with maybe one change in it. And Brian, maybe if you want to address that, I think you said the first application that the consultants apparently are stuck someplace, and maybe we could defer it and do the other ones that are behind, and maybe we can work with it after. If somebody could come along, I'll maybe let you address that.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you to the committee. If the committee is agreeable, then we suggest item 7.1 be moved to the end of the public meetings to 7.4. As you mentioned, the project consultant is currently stuck in traffic, so they're on their way, but if we could move that to the end of the public agenda, then that would certainly give them a bit more time.
Okay, thank you. Committee all right with that? Ask for approval agenda subject to that change. So, Councillor McHugh moves it, JD seconds it. All in favor? Carried, thank you. I would now ask for a motion to approve the minutes of the January 18th, 2024 meeting. Councillor Kosovitz, Councillor Descartes. Any errors, omissions, or questions regarding those amendments? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, we'll move right into the first part of the business here. The public meetings are prescribed under the Planning Act, and the meetings are conducted as prescribed by Section 3413 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, as amended for 2 zoning bylaw amendment applications affecting land in the Trenton Ward, 1 official plan amendment affecting land in the Trenton Ward, and 1 zoning bylaw amendment affecting lands in the Murray Ward, and 1 zoning bylaw amendment application affecting land in the Sydney Ward. The meeting will be conducted in the following manner for each application. First, I will identify the application being considered, and then I will ask planning staff to outline the application being considered. Then ask if there are any members of the public who have registered in advance to attend and participate in the meeting have any questions or comments regarding each application. If there are no public comments or questions, I will ask the committee if they have any questions or comments. Once the committee's questions have all been addressed, the committee will consider and vote on each application. If you wish to provide comments, please state your name and address for the record prior to addressing the committee. This committee has been delegated the responsibility to conduct public meetings as prescribed under the Planning Act. A full report of the meeting's proceedings will be submitted to City Council on Wednesday, March the 6th, 2024. Council will make the decision on each of the stated applications. Anyone other than the applicant who wishes to receive further notice of Council's decision on any application must submit a written request for notice of Council's decision to the Director of Planning and Development Services. I will now ask the Director of Planning and Development Services please advise the committee on how notice of these meetings were given.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Notice of the applications being considered this evening were given in keeping with the Planning Act, RSO 1990 as amended, by first-class mail on January 26, 2024, and posting of signs on the subject properties on the same date. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, as we stated earlier, we will defer the first application, staff report 7.1, and we'll move right into 7.2, staff report 24-08. PD, a zoning bylaw amendment applications. The owner's Simbam Group Real Estate. The agent is Eco Consulting, Inc. The location is 63 Holland Road. The file number is D09/M03/24. Katie, would you like to address this application, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair, this rezoning is a condition of consent application B54/21M, which was granted by the Committee of Adjustment on March 10th, 2022. Under the consent application, the Committee of Adjustment conditionally approved a 1-hectare lot fronting on Zion Road. The purpose of the zoning amendment is to rezone the severed parcel from the Recreation Commercial Exception 1 zone to rural residential. This rezoning would bring the proposed severed lot into conformity with the city zoning bylaw and recognize the residential nature of the property. The retained lands will remain in the Recreation Commercial Exception 1 zone and continue to recognize the Quinte Hills Golf Course. This application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, the city's official plan, and maintains the intent of the zoning bylaw. This application is recommended for approval.
Okay, thanks very much. Do we have anyone in attendance other than the applicant that wishes to speak in favor of this application? Anyone in opposition or any general questions of this application? The applicant in attendance or representative? None noted. Okay, committee, you have heard the recommendation is to approve. I'll entertain a motion or any questions. Councillor McHugh moves it. Second, Mr. Brown. Any questions regarding the application? If not, all in favor of approval? Carried. Thank you. We now move to item 7.4, staff report 24-020 PD, a zoning bylaw amendment application. The owner is Joanne Cleary and Donna Dafo. The agent is Watson Land Surveyors. The location is 13 Filburn Road. The file number is D09/S06/24. Oh, sorry, yes. Got ahead. Jumped too far down. All right, we're at 7.3, staff report 24-019 PD, zoning bylaw amendment application. The owner is 440136 BC Limited and 598227 British Columbia Limited. And the agent is Curtis King. The location is 390 Sydney Street. The file number is D09/T04/24. Dale, would you like to address this application, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair, the subject property is located at 390 Sydney Street in Trenton. The subject lands are developed with an existing building used for warehousing and an associated parking area. The subject lands are currently zoned as the light industrial zone through the City of Quinte West Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 14-86 and are designated under the city's official plan as Planning District 2B of the Trenton Urban Service Area. The purpose of the application is to rezone the subject lands from the light industrial zone to the light industrial zone exception 5 to permit an additional use of a recreational trailer, vehicle, and marine sales service and part supply establishment. The proposed amendment will also allow for accessory outdoor storage for recreational vehicles. Planning District 2B of the Trenton Urban Service Area permits highway commercial uses in accordance with Section 5.7.1.5 of the official plan. Highway commercial uses are intended for businesses that rely heavily upon traffic for their economic existence, and highway commercial uses include recreational vehicle sales and service establishments. The application for zoning bylaw amendment is consistent with the provincial policy statement, conforms to the policies of the city's official plan, and will comply with the city's zoning bylaw. As such, the application is recommended for approval.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone in attendance other than the applicant who wishes to speak in favor of this application? Anyone in opposition or have general questions? Is the applicant in attendance? Seeing? Okay. Okay. Any comments, sir, or questions? Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for your attendance. Okay, committee, if there's no other further questions or comments, I would entertain a motion and any questions or comments regarding this. Moved by Mr. Brown, seconder, Councillor Kasovas. Any questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, all in favor of the recommendation to approve? Carried, thank you. Okay, now we'll get down to 7.4. Staff report 24-020 PD is zoning bylaw amendment application. The owner is Joanne Cleary and Donna Dafo. Agent is Watson Land Surveyors. The location is 13 Filburn Road. File number is D09/S06/24. Dale, again, please. Thank you.
Through the chair, the purpose of the zoning bylaw amendment application is to fulfill a condition of consent application B44-23S, which was for the purpose of creating one new lot. The consent application was approved by the Committee of Adjustment on December 14th, 2023. The zoning bylaw amendment proposes to rezone the subject lands from the rural zone and agricultural zone to the rural residential zone and rural residential exception 57 zone. The proposed severed lands are to be rezoned to the rural residential zone to recognize the proposed lot area and future rural residential use. The proposed retained lands are to be rezoned to the rural exception 57 zone to recognize the front yard setback of the existing structure. This application is consistent with the provincial policy statement and conforms to the City of Quinte West official plan. The application is therefore recommended for approval.
Okay, thank you very much, Dale. Okay, do we have anyone in attendance who wishes to speak in favor of this application other than the applicant? None? Do we have anyone in opposition or have general questions? Keith, I presume you're representing the applicant this evening? Okay. Okay, no further questions or comments. I would ask the committee to consider the recommendation to approve and entertain any questions. Councillor McHugh moves. Councillor Neal seconds. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. All right, Mr. Director, I've seen some new people come in. Is that for the first application? Okay, so we worked that right. So we'll revert back to our first item on the agenda. And welcome, gentlemen. I'm sorry you're having some problems traveling. I can't understand why, but it's probably the other guy that's out there. Okay, now we'll start at item 7.1, staff report 24-07 PD, the official plan and zoning bylaw amendment applications. The owner is 15100-127 Canada Inc. and the agent is Foten Consultants Inc. The location is 10 Trenton Street. The file number is D09/T39/23 and D09/T40/23. Brian, would you like to address this application, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, to the committee members. I'll say a few words about the application, I believe, with the project consultants from Foten Consulting here, and they can make some comments as well. But as you said, the report in front of you this evening actually covers two concurrent applications, one for official plan amendment and one for a zoning bylaw amendment. The official plan amendment, both of the applications relate to the property at 10 Trenton Street, formerly or currently a hotel property with associated parking. Official plan amendment is to remove the property from the current planning district 3B, which is essentially a highway commercial district, and provide it into a site-specific special policy area, number 35, which will permit medium-density residential within the current property and within the current building. The concurrent zoning bylaw amendment is very similar in nature in that the proposal is to remove the property from the corridor commercial zoning and replace that with a residential type 5, exception 4 zoning, and I'll make some comments about those exceptions in a second. The intent of the applications together are to convert the existing hotel property into 73 separate distinct bachelor apartments for rent. That's the intent of the application. There's no, at this time, there's no proposed additions or expansions of the building. All of the work will be internal. It's basically a shift from the hotel type of use into rental accommodation. You'll see from the staff reports that the applicant and their consultants provided a number of supporting documents that were submitted with the applications, and they're attached as appendices to your report. They include a planning justification document or letter, a noise study, and then some architectural drawings of the existing building and showing how the apartments would be set up within that building. The property itself is located within the Trenton ward. It's just over 1 hectare in size, 1.2 hectares, with just over 66 metres of road frontage on Trenton Street, just south of the roundabout at the top end of Trenton Street. Property is slightly sandwiched between the two rail lines, with CNR rail line to the north and the CPR line to the south, which are relevant to part of the application. The neighbourhood is very much a mixed-use neighbourhood, while it currently sits within a planning district that is essentially commercial in nature. The land uses, the existing land uses within the district are very mixed. There's residential land uses across the road to the east, some commercial uses, some open space uses. So it's a real mix of land uses, and obviously the Trent River further to the east of the property. The official plan amendment itself, the official plan provides a number of criteria by which an application like this is assessed, and that's detailed within the staff report. So with the application, with the information that we have in-house, together with the information that was provided by the consultants through their justification study, we have assessed the application in relation to those medium density residential criteria. They include things like ensuring proper servicing and ensuring proper access to the property, compatibility with the neighbourhood and what's around it, public service facilities that can accommodate and can serve the public that will ultimately live within the residential uses, and as I said, access and parking. So those are the types of things that we review the application against, and I can confirm that in providing this recommendation to the committee, we're comfortable that those criteria have been met by this application. The zoning bylaw amendment that goes along with this, obviously, as you know, is a little bit more specific in that it specifically recognises medium density residential in the form of apartments on the subject property. Some of the technicalities of the application are also recognising the footprint and the setbacks of the existing building, recognising where that's deficient with the current zoning or the residential zoning, and also a reduction in the parking requirement. Currently under our zoning bylaw, the parking requirement for apartments is 1.5 spaces per unit, and this application using the existing parking that's on site would be able to provide 1.2 units per unit. I'll speak a little bit in the justification piece about our position on the parking. Again, in the report, you'll see the rundown of circulations and comments that we've received on the report. Application was circulated to all internal departments. No objections or concerns raised by any of the departments. We did get comments that are in the report from CNR Rail. As expected, they just acknowledged the proximity of the existing rail line, recommended a warning clause. As I mentioned earlier on and is included in the package, the proponent did support or did supply a noise study that looked at the rail lines, looked at some of the traffic noise, and has recommended themselves some building components, if you like, such as air conditioning, glazing, that type of thing that will help mitigate the noise, and the proponents prepared to make those changes. The other notable comment that we got in, you'll see in the package, we did get comments from Lower Trent Conservation, who actually asked for or recommended a deferral of the application at this point in time. The rationale for that is the fact that the Conservation Authority are kind of coordinating and spearheading an ongoing update to the floodplain mapping for the Trent River, Mayhew Creek and Cold Creek in Frankfurt. That process is nearing completion. Some of the draft findings are now coming out, and based on a recent public meeting, we're aware that some of that new data potentially shows that this part of Trenton could be impacted to a higher degree than the current floodplain mapping shows in the event of a 100-year storm. And that's the basis of the recommendation for deferral from the Conservation Authority. From the city's perspective, we do not support that deferral recommendation. We are obligated to utilise the current legislation that's in place, the current data that's in place when we review an application. That's an obligation under the Planning Act, and that goes with the technical information such as floodplain mapping. So currently the property does not show up in the floodplain. That's the legislation that we are applying to this application. So we do not support the recommendation for deferral. The other thing I would say on that as well is that one of the specific natures of this application is that they're reusing an existing building. This is not a new development. That building exists. While it's technically in a commercial use, even as a hotel, people are staying in. It's a building that houses people, albeit in a different type of format. So this is not a new development. This is an existing development, again, which lessens our concern over any future realignment of the floodplain mapping. So that's a bit of a summary on the the comments that we've received. I said, outside of the Conservation Authority comments, no negative comments and nothing that would change our recommendation. So I think my only kind of final comments I would make is that we've spoken a lot at this committee about some of the issues that this municipality and others are facing, particularly in the housing market these days, and it's certainly requiring municipalities and planning departments to an extent to look at properties differently and look at some of the policies in our official plans and zoning a little bit differently. And this is very much a case in point in that this proposal, albeit that it's a significant change in both the policy and the zoning from commercial to residential, the specifics of the site do lend themselves to this use, in my opinion. And more importantly, the application will see the viable future use of an existing building that's underutilised currently. It will provide much needed housing form in the form of rental, small floor space housing, which is the highest and greatest need in this community at this point in time. And we've all, from a technical perspective, we've confirmed that existing services will accommodate the proposal, and the current infrastructure, road access, etc., can accommodate the development. So as such, I would certainly support the recommendations, the amendments and the recommendations presented to the committee for approval. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Brian. Would the consultants wish to address any concerns or answer any questions, I guess?
Made a presentation. Oh, perfect. Just press this? Okay. Good evening. My name is Tyler Hamilton, and I'm a planner with Photon Planning and Design. I'm here tonight to speak with regards to the official plan and zoning bylaw amendments associated with 10 Trenton Street. The site is located in the city of Quinte west of the Trent River, and is located south of Highway 401 and Highway 33. The site, which is located along Trenton Street, provides access to the broader transportation network and downtown area. The site is also in proximity to Quinte West transit routes A, B, and D, and is in an area with a variety of land uses, which include residential, commercial, and light industrial uses. 10 Trenton Street has an approximate lot area of 1.23 hectares, and the site was formerly utilized as a motel, which utilized the existing two-story building on the site. The existing two-story building is attached to an existing commercial building at 8 Trenton Street. The site is accessed from Trenton Street and is also located in proximity to the CN rail lines to the west and north. The proposed development is an internal conversion of the existing motel to residential apartment dwellings. As such, there are no exterior changes proposed at this time. There are 73 units proposed, which align with the existing floor plate of the building, 25% of which are going to be provided at the CMHC standard for affordable units. There will be 88 parking spaces provided, 73 for residential and 15 for visitor spaces. As noted, vehicular access will be provided from Trenton Street, and parking will be provided on the existing parking lot on the site. As part of this application, we provided a site plan, noise impact study, elevations with cross-section plans, and a plating justification report. The site, as mentioned by staff, is currently designated in Planning District 3, Sub-District B. Sub-District 3 permits a variety of uses, which include residential, commercial, industrial, and open space uses, while Sub-District B is limited to commercial and industrial uses. So the purpose of this will be to address the lack of residential uses permitted within the sub-district. The site is currently zoned corridor commercial, and the corridor commercial zone permits a range of commercial uses, but does not permit an apartment dwelling as a use. The site is subject to the environmentally sensitive area overlay, which permits the uses associated with the parent zone, in this case, the corridor commercial zone. And the proposed official plan amendment is being sought to redesignate the property to a site-specific policy area to permit a medium residential use. As noted, the Sub-District B does not permit residential uses, so we're just looking to bring the existing site into conformity with what it's currently being used for. The proposed zoning bylaw amendment is to rezone the site from corridor commercial to a site-specific residential type 5 zone to permit a 0-meter setback along the interior lot line, which is an existing condition with 8 Trenton Street, and also to reduce the parking rate from 1.5 spaces per unit to 1.2 spaces per unit. It is our opinion that the official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment associated with the proposed development represents an efficient use of an underutilized property and is compatible with the uses in the surrounding area. The proposal will contribute to the supply of housing on serviced land within the city of Quinte West and is consistent with the provincial policy statement. And as such, we believe this is good land use planning. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. Do we have anyone in attendance who has any questions, comments, or opposition? Okay, hearing none, I would ask the committee to consider the 2 recommendations, and I'll entertain any questions, and I'm sure the gentleman, if you have any, would like to answer them. Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the city's in dire need of more residential apartment units. I've got a question on the noise impact study.
Yep.
You're right beside the CN line, and it's elevated. So what specific things are you going to do to limit the noise?
So as part of through the chair, as part of the noise impact study that was prepared, they identified glazing along the windows, which are facing west, which will need to be improved to meet the MECP requirements. And there will also need to be warning clauses associated with the rental agreements, which will be done through the site plan control process. And there will also be an environmental easement that would be placed over the property as well.
So you're not going to put up any fencing or
No,
solid
it is-
fencing or anything like that to limit the noise too, or?
Through the chair, it is the opinion of the professional who prepared the noise impact study that through updating the existing fixtures of the existing building, we'll be able to meet the MECP guidelines with regards to noise impacts.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other committee members have questions? Councillor Kosovas?
Thank you. I'm in favor of the application. Residential dwellings are desperately needed. That said, I'd like to see more 2 bedrooms, not just the singles as indicated in this application, because families are struggling for suitable housing as well.
Okay.
And that, I didn't know if there was any appetite for 2 bedrooms to accommodate some families.
Through the chair, that could be contemplated with the applicant, but as of right now, the current design is just to utilize the existing floor plate.
Okay.
Follow-up question, thank you. Will the exterior change? The drawings didn't do it much justice.
Through the chair, there are no proposed changes to the exterior at this time.
If I could have one comment for that, I only ask because this building has carried a less than desirable reputation. So I'm all for creating housing, but I want the building to look nice as well. As a community advocate, appearances are especially important in high traffic areas, especially this being close to the 401. So it's the first thing they see as they come in towards our downtown.
Through the chair, we'd be happy to look at that through the site plan control process.
Okay. Any other committee members? Councillor Card?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And through you to the consultant, I just had a couple of questions. Currently, the 73 units, how many are currently occupied, and is it just sort of a short mix of short-term and long-term kind of rentals right now, and like a pseudo kind of hotel?
Through the chair, so when the applicant acquired the property, there was existing long-term leases that had been signed with the seller. So the applicant is currently renting out, is holding onto the rents until the leases are done. I'm sure there'll be an opportunity to continue the leases, but the purpose of this application is to bring the existing site into conformity with the policy framework, which recognizes the condition of the site when it was acquired by the applicant.
Okay, and just thinking about the folks that are in there now, that they will have an opportunity, I guess, to say maybe be at the front of the line, so to speak, to sign a potential lease, like a formal lease in the new apartment structure. They are purpose built for rental. Is that correct? You won't be selling any of the units. Is that?
Through the chair, correct. They will be for rental units.
Okay. yeah, I think that would be reasonable to offer them kind of the first kick at the can, so to speak, on the long-term lease before you take those units to market. But yeah, I would echo what my other committee members have said. It's kind of a slam dunk, close to transit, serviced. There isn't even going to be months of loud building. It's just internal changes, building skeleton's already there, and the density mix that we need. So yeah, I think it's a good project, and I wish you luck.
Okay, thank you. Any other one, Mr. Brown?
Through you, Mr. Chair. What is the plan? I mean, understanding that you have a bunch of things to do inside the building. It was built as a hotel, so I'm assuming, I haven't been there before, but assuming that there aren't kitchenettes there, you're going to have to build, I would imagine, modify some units, retrofitting them for ventilation, for cooking and things like that. So is there a plan, like how long will people, assuming you'll have to move people out of some units, at least on a temporary basis, what's the plan for that?
Through the chair, it is my understanding, based off of the floor plans, that some of them already had the rough-ins inside the unit. I'm not fully aware of how the development process is going to be handled with the existing tenants. However, that is something that can definitely be addressed as the file moves forward.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councillor Card.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as a supplemental through you, and you mentioned that 25% of the units meet the CMHC standard. Is that a set number? Could that change? And is that the 30% of income? Is that the goal there, the measuring stick?
Through the chair, my understanding is that this is going to be based off of the local requirements defined by the CMHC, which my understanding is approximately $1,300 a month.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. Our committee, you have two recommendations, of course, in front of you. One is the official plan amendment, which has been approved by staff, and then you have the zoning bylaw amendment, also supported by staff. I would entertain a motion. Councillor McHugh moves. Mr. J.D. Brown seconds it. Any further questions or comments? All in favor of both amendments? Carried. Thank you. Okay. Your comments regarding the applications and staff reports have been recorded and will be forwarded to the members of council together with the minutes of this meeting. Council will make a decision to approve or refuse the stated applications at the regularly scheduled council meeting of Wednesday, March the 6th, 2024. We now move into item 8, public input. Anyone for public input? Seeing none, thank you. Presentations, we have none. Delegations, none. And decision items, none. We now move into item 12, printed information. We have 12.1, monthly planning reports. A, zoning bylaw, official amendment application tracking, building department report, and the committee, site plan committee minutes. And I would entertain a motion to receive all three and any questions you might have on any of those. Councillor McHugh approves. Seconder? Mr. Brown, any questions regarding any of those items? Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When I look at the monthly building division report, and then in Quinte paper said there were 4 new residential and 3 new apartment buildings, but the report had only a total evaluation of $215,000. But after talking to staff, it wasn't 3 new apartment buildings, it was 3 accessory apartments in existing houses, which makes a lot more sense than 3 new apartment buildings. But thank you for getting that information back to me.
Okay. Any other questions? It's all right. Councillor Card.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to Director Jordan, I probably should have asked this of the consultant, but what would be your rough estimation of the last, the Trenton Street apartment? What do you presume their timeline could possibly be for next steps in the process?
Not sure. I think obviously, as you mentioned yourself, the fact that it's internal renovations will speed the process up. I think we probably try and get some timelines for you. Maybe I can provide that to committee members outside of the committee, but through email. We'll certainly ask that question, but I don't have any timelines for you at this point in time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, no further questions. All in favor of the motion? It's been regularly moved and seconded. Carried, thank you. We now move into non-printed. We have none, and we have requests for information. I'll start with Councillor Kosovas and work this way and around. No, none? Zach? Councillor McHugh.
Not so much a request, Chair. Just a couple of comments. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. It's been a good meeting, a good quick one too. Safe trip home, and everybody have a happy Family Day. Almost said Father's Day, but have a happy Family Day weekend. Thank you.
I'll ask Maureen Simmons. I know you're virtual. I hope you can hear us, and I hope your arm is healing for you. And do you have any comments or questions?
No, I'm fine, thank you. It's nice to see you all, and hopefully I'll be back in person shortly.
Okay, thanks for your attendance anyway. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councillor O'Neill.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Okay, thank you. JD?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay. I'll move over to staff. Any comments from staff this evening? Brian?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the committee. Some unfortunate news this evening. Have to announce that we will be losing Mr. Egan from the team shortly, next week, I think. Dale's good for him, but not good for us. Has accepted a position elsewhere, so he'll be plying his trade somewhere else, seeking some slightly different experience. It'll be very much a loss to the team. Dale's not been with us for all that long, certainly not long enough. But the speed at which he fit into the group, picked up the workload, and he's been a valued member of the team. So sorry to see him go, but always very, also very happy and enthusiastic when you see somebody relatively close to the start of their career looking to branch out and do different things. That's always very encouraging, and I certainly I think we all wish him well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else you want to entertain us with tonight with announcements or whatever?
I don't think entertain's the right word, but no unless there's something I've missed that you recall.
Oh. Well, I'd also like to extend my best wishes for Dale. He's been a pleasure to work with. As you said, he hasn't been here very long, but he's always been great to work with, and always a smiling face and say hello when you walk by or whatever. And I wish him all the best in his future endeavors. And that's all we can say. And thank you for your dedication and hard work that you did in the period that you were here. So thank you, and all the best to you. Anybody from committee want to have a few words? Councillor McHugh.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Dale, all the best to you. Every time I walk by, he's always had the time to talk to me. He's done an excellent job. All his reports have been very professional, so I know he's going to do well. I don't know where you're going, but I look forward to following your career. So all the best to you, son. Take care. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, very high report quality. I think Dale always did his homework, and certainly keep us in mind. You never know what the future holds. The city will still be here, so maybe come back around one day. You never know.
Okay. No one else? Well, all the best, Dale, and I hope everyone has a safe drive home tonight. I hope everything has been got through fairly quickly, and hopefully it'll it not be snowing too hard and blowing when you get out there and you have to drive. I know the roads are going to be a bit dicey, but okay. Without further ado, I guess the hard part is here. I'd entertain a notion of adjournment. Councillor Card, Councillor O'Neill. Opposed? Carried. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.